Hey there guys, welcome back to RonMan Gaming. RonMan here as always, and today I want to share with you my 10 favorite Nintendo 64 games. Also, if you're new here and you like my content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you stay up to date with RonMan Gaming. When it comes to the Nintendo 64, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I love it because the games on this list, and even a few others, I really love. There's definitely a good handful of games on the 64, which brings me to why I don't love the console, because there is only a handful of games that I love. I mean, the library is very small at 296 games, and for me, I'm just not going to find a whole bunch of really good games I never knew about, unlike the NES and SNES. There are still games that I'm discovering for both of those consoles that I never knew about and I love. So that's my problem with the N64. The games I have, I love, but that's kind of it. With that out of the way, let's move on to the list. Coming in at number 10 is Mario Party 2. Although I love all three Mario Party games for the N64, my pick has to go to 2. I've spent the most time with 2, and 2 didn't cause me to rip a big hole in my hand. Yeah, I was one of the victims of tug-of-war from the original Mario Party. I spent a lot of time playing Mario Party 2 with my mom, and we just had so much fun. I love all the boards, especially Horrorland, the music, the mini-games, and of course all the memories that this game helped to create. If I had a nitpick, it would just simply be that I don't love the single-player mode. I never did beat it as a kid, and I don't think I ever will try. Either way, I love Mario Party 2, it's lots of fun, and that's why it's on the list. Finish! Coming in at number 9 is Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day came out in 2001, and I never got a chance to play it. In fact, I never really played it until maybe 5 years ago or so. To be honest, I was actually kinda disappointed with this game. I thought it was supposed to be like BanjoKazooie, just with dark humor. Well, it's not like Banjo at all. Instead of collecting stars or jiggies, you collect money. And that's it, there's nothing else to collect. And this game is also pretty linear. The controls are not the best, and they certainly haven't aged well. Okay, so with all these negative points, why is this game on my list? Well, after I gave this game a chance, I realized that this is the funniest game I have ever played. Not to mention that Conker is an amazing character. He's definitely one of my favorite video game characters ever. He's such a sarcastic, smart-mouthed asshole piece of shit, and I love him. Even though the gameplay and the controls don't hold up the best these days, in my opinion, the humor absolutely does. This game is just so funny, I literally laughed out loud throughout my whole playthrough.
And none of this would have happened if it weren't for that no-good husband of mine. He's gone off, you know, with another woman.
Oh, really? That doesn't surprise me.
What?
Nothing.
Anyway.
Coming in at number 8 is Shadowgate 64. When it comes to atmosphere, Shadowgate 64 nails it. There's just something about dimming the lights, turning up the volume, grabbing a cold drink, and allowing yourself to slip away from reality and into the world of Shadowgate 64. I got this game when I was 13, and that's exactly what I did. Shadowgate 64 is a puzzle game. You slowly uncover the story as you make your way through the castle and the 4 towers. The graphics aren't the best that the console has to offer, but I think the music is fantastic. Even though Shadowgate is not a horror game, there's a lot here to keep you unsettled. I know this game is not for everybody, but if you like creepy settings and have patience, you should definitely check out Shadowgate 64. Coming in at number 7 is Mystical Ninja. I had never heard of Goemon before, and I'm not really too sure why this was the game we picked to be our first Nintendo 64 game, but I'm glad that it was. I immediately liked the graphics and the music. The only issue I have with this game is that you can't directly control the camera. but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. This was the game, by the way, that really made me love Japanese culture. The music, the world, and the humor are just so enjoyable, and I love returning to this game. Also on the Nintendo 64 is Goemon's Great Adventure. This game is also lots of fun, but I haven't played it a whole lot yet. Perhaps I'll cover it in a future review. Coming in at number 6 is Mega Man 64. My first exposure to this game was actually on the PlayStation with Mega Man Legends. Well, Mega Man Legends and Mega Man 64 are actually the same game, but I would rather play Mega Man 64. I'll happily trade load times for slightly worse audio. Anyway, I fell in love with this game the first time I played it. I love the characters, the enemies, the story, and especially the world. Mega Man 64 takes place on Cadillacs Island. There's a shopping district, a residential district, and all kinds of different dungeons and fields to explore. You also earn money and can upgrade or find or buy new equipment. Mega Man 64 is a great time and you should definitely check it out. Coming in at number 5 is BanjoTooie. I got BanjoTooie around the same time I got Shadowgate 64, so that was when I was 13 in grade 8. The very next day after I had picked up BanjoTooie, I pretended to be sick so I could stay home from school and play it, and to my absolute astonishment, my dad's second wife believed me. Anyway, I love how Tooie picks up 2 years after the first game, and you branch off of Spiral Mountain into a different direction. BanjoTooie is much darker and much bigger. You retain all the moves you learned from the first game, and on top of that, you learn many more. There's enough in this game to keep you busy for a long time. Coming in at number 4 is Nightmare Creatures. My mom rented this for me one Friday afternoon. I found it to be pretty scary, but unlike Resident Evil, I was able to keep playing Nightmare Creatures. Although I did kind of suck at this game. There are 20 haunting levels jam-packed full of hideous monsters to kill and tons of items to find. The levels are all pretty big and fun to explore. Kicking werewolves in the face and slicing zombies up never gets old. When you start a new game, make sure to go into the options menu and turn off the adrenaline meter, which acts like a time limit. That way you can explore as long as you want and you won't have to worry about your health depleting. I should mention that you can only do this in the N64 version. In the PlayStation version, you're stuck with the adrenaline meter. But if you like a creepy fun time, definitely don't pass up on Nightmare Creatures. Coming in at number 3 is Castlevania: Legacy of Darkness. Castlevania's leap into 3D wasn't as smooth as Zelda or Mario's, but even still, I love Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. This game is not perfect, but the atmosphere is great and there's tons of content here. There are 4 playable characters who all have their own story and each have slightly different levels to explore. I remember coming home from school in grade 9 and sitting my ass down in front of the TV and just playing this all night. I also remember feeling pretty creeped out by this game because there are certain parts that are pretty unsettling. I should also mention that Legacy of Darkness is compatible with the RAM expansion. If you use it, you'll get a higher resolution, but you'll also get a much lower frame rate, so I don't recommend you use the RAM expansion. I do, however, recommend that you play this game. It may not be your favorite Castlevania, heck, you might even hate this game, and fair enough, but I love this game, and that's why it's number 3 on my list. Coming in at number 2 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I mean, what can I say about this game that hasn't been said? It's Ocarina of Time, and you know why it's here. Before this had come out, I was already a really big Zelda fan. I was so stoked and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. When I did, I was not disappointed. Funny story, when I was a kid, there was sort of like a tunic war going on between all my friends and me. Think of it kind of like a console war. You know, I like Genesis, no, I like Super Nintendo, but it was with the tunics, and so no one liked the green tunic. All my friends preferred the red tunic, and I seemed to be the only kid who preferred the blue tunic. When I would meet new kids and find out that they also played Zelda, that would be like my first question.
Which tunic do you wear?
Yeah, kids are stupid. Anyway, I love going back to this game every once in a while, so I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Here is a little thing. I actually like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time, but not the 64 version of Majora's Mask. The 3DS version of Majora's Mask I prefer over any incarnation of Ocarina of Time, but when it comes to the actual 64, I would rather play Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask is still great, but in my opinion, there's just too many things about Majora's Mask that makes it really just more of a chore to play. So I know that's kind of confusing. I prefer Majora's Mask overall, but for this list, Ocarina of Time definitely takes the number 2 spot. And coming in at number 1, BanjoKazooie.
Uh-huh.
Ah, BanjoKazooie. God, I love you. Again, there's not much I can say about this game that hasn't already been said. I mean, Banjo took everything that Mario 64 did, and in my opinion, did everything better. First off, I love the characters. The chemistry between Banjo and Kazooie is amazing and really helps to make them such a great duo. Bottles is a great and funny supporting character, and Gruntilda, oh man, Gruntilda, what a great villain. Okay, so she kidnaps Banjo's sister Tootie and plans to steal her good looks. If you get a game over, you actually get to see what happens if Gruntilda wins. Throughout the whole game, Gruntilda constantly chirps Banjo, which makes it all the more satisfying when you finally make it to her and get a chance to shove your foot up her sweaty ass. Fucking bitch! But none of this would be worth it if the journey to Gruntilda wasn't well designed and fun. And thankfully it is. I love every single level of the game, even my least favorite level, Rusty Bucket Bay. I still love. I mean, it's hard as shit, but I still love it. The themes range from a tropical beach, to a swamp, to a frozen wonderland, to a haunted mansion, and much more. You meet many characters along the way, and even though most of them are not as memorable as Bottles or Gruntilda, they still add to the charm, and I love that they're there, and I would not have it any other way. I love the characters, the worlds, the music, and the gameplay. Also, I have a lot of fond memories playing BanjoKazooie with my mom, and for all these reasons, that is why BanjoKazooie is my favorite Nintendo 64 game. Alright guys, that is my list. Don't be mad, I know there are a lot of glaring omissions, but this is my list, and these are the games that I like. The games that are not on this list, there's a good chance I still like them, just not enough to put them in my top 10. So why don't you tell me what your favorite games are down in the comments below. Thank you so much. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.